Hi, I'm Jesse. I have a lot of books and I want to share them with you. Today we're looking at 9 cool European graphic novels you've probably never heard of. The European comic scene is huge and has been for decades, especially in, I would say, France and Italy. And a lot of them make their way over here to the US when they can, or republished. I don't speak any other languages, so I have to wait for them to be republished in English. But over the years, I've found a number that I really, really like. So starting off, we have one, starting off with a bang, literally. This is The Killer. This is not for the faint of heart. This is about an assassin. And it shows, let's say, 2 trends that are common in European comics. One of them is that the art is incredible and incredibly detailed. And just the coloring is beautiful. The art is stunning. It really focuses on a lot of architecture, these beautiful scenes and sunsets, the forests and all these locations. The main character, who's this assassin, travels all around the world on all these different jobs and tries to debate whether he should escape the life or not, but he really enjoys it. The second thing it sort of shows about some European comics is a cynicism. There's sort of a downbeat. And this one in particular is probably the darkest that we'll look at. It is just dark. It is pretty bleak and cynical, but it is really, really well done. It's not the type of thing I usually go for, but it's just really well done. The next book I wanted to look at is very different. It's called The Adoption. And you can sort of see in the picture here, this is about an older couple that adopts a little girl from Peru, an older couple in France. And it's basically about the man who's gotten curmudgeonly in his old age, having his heart warmed by this little girl and introducing her to his life. But it has a big twist that I won't spoil. And it goes into different unexpected territory. That's another thing with some of these books. They don't necessarily do what you expect. They don't tie up the story in a neat, classic hero's arc that is predictable. Sometimes they go in different, unusual directions, and that's really enjoyable to read, really different, and makes it a lot of fun, even if sometimes it doesn't go the way that you want it. Another book I want to look at is My New York Marathon. So it's about New York, so I'm partial. I like it. I'm from New York. And but it's French, and the author describes his attempts to run the marathon. What's nice about this is that I got this copy at Forbidden Planet, which is my comic book store in New York, and they had a signing, and I got to meet the author. And he did wonderful, really nice sketches. And I say sketches plural because I bought 2 copies of it to give to friends of mine who ran the marathon as gifts. So that was really cool. And the art is really nice. I'm not athletic. I'm not a marathon runner in any way, but it was really relatable in the struggles and the whole journey that he took. Next, I want to talk about a publishing imprint, Europe Comics. Now, Europe Comics is a web-first publisher, and that can be a little frustrating for me because I like collecting books. But everything I've read of theirs has been excellent. They're so good that I've went ahead and bought some of them because they did publish them in their native languages. So this is Forte, and I actually bought it, and it's in French. So it is not readable by me, despite me taking 5 years of French in school. But the one online that I read was in English. This is an excellent book about a young girl from a favela in Brazil, which I got to see some of those when I traveled to Sao Paulo. And she grows up in poverty there and makes her way to a prestigious music conservatory in Paris. And it's sort of like, will she succeed? Will she make it? Will she overcome her circumstances and do a good job there? And that's a really nice, heartwarming story. Similarly, this is also from Europe Comics. This is Someone to Talk to. And this is about a man who calls on an old telephone, his old phone number from growing up, and ends up talking to his younger self. And his younger self helps him through an existential crisis that he's having as an adult. Another Europe comic that I really like was called Night Cries. This one's very recent and is just very bizarre. It's a different style. It's a very stylized, evocative, sort of romantic style, similar to Mike Mignola from Hellboy, and dark and gothic. And I don't have the book of it, but it was very good, about a fairy from another universe, sort of who grants wishes, but it's very realistic and dark about these just normal girls going about their life and how they deal with this weird circumstance. And that made me look up a book from the same author, A Gift for a Ghost. And this one I literally just read yesterday. And it has that really cool stylized artwork. And this is about, well, I don't want to spoil it, but different eras, a sort of something going on a couple hundred years ago and something happening today and how they intertwine. And it's like some of these European comics, it doesn't go where you expect. It meanders a little bit, but the mood is really what this one is all about and what it evokes. Two more here. Ballad for Sophie. This one's really good. It's also relatively recent. This one is published in English. It was published by Top Shelf. And I think it's by Portuguese creators. And it's a very cool story about an old man who was a very famous musician, and he's looking back at his life. And there's a young woman interviewing him and learning all about him and the twists and turns that his life has taken when he was sort of wanted to be a really good, authentic musician, but sold out and became extremely famous and sort of hates himself for it now, which sounds pretty depressing, but has a happier ending. And then lastly, this is one of my favorite books of all time. I've mentioned it in a few of my videos. Vincent. It's about the life of Vincent van Gogh. What I didn't realize was that it's was partly funded by the Van Gogh Museum, so I think it may have been originally published in Dutch. But it's the life of Vincent van Gogh, and there have been a lot of, biographies of Van Gogh, but this one uses such brilliant, simple artwork that's in the colors of his palette and of his works. And because it's a graphic novel, you can use that to create these really expressionistic styles when he's having his episodes. So as his mental state deteriorates, the artwork style changes. And it's a really brilliant way of showing his inner life and his inner state at all times. And the whole thing revolves around his beautiful relationship with his brother, who supported him his whole life. And it's just very, very bittersweet and a wonderful book. And I highly recommend it. I recommend all the ones here. If you're going to pick one, I think Vincent is an excellent choice. I've gifted it to a lot of people over the years, and they love it. So that's all for now. I hope you enjoy these European comics. Go out and check some out. Read some online, buy some, enjoy. And if you like and subscribe, that would be great. Thank you so much.